Hello, hello. Welcome everyone to Young Reech Capital's live stream. It's the 25th of April, Friday 2025. We are looking at the Bitcoin chart, and I'm looking at some major bullish moves going on right now. We are going to be talking about all things Bitcoin today, along with some potential altcoins. As I promised yesterday, I'm going to do some breakdowns with a couple of potential trade opportunities on some altcoins, since we did see a potential bullish move on Bitcoin, and as usual, the altcoins are going to follow suit at the same time when Bitcoin starts to do its thing. So let me just get started with Bitcoin, and I'm going to slowly move into the altcoins as and when the stream moves on. So let me pull up the 1 hour time frame on BTC. So as we discussed on, I think it was Monday, is when I discussed this price, when I put this call out of $94,968, which was essentially the range high formation on BTC, which was a monthly range high. the range high of March. It looks like we are starting to break out of this range high right now. We actually, as a matter of fact, have closed in a candle closed above the range high. Let me just zoom in to this and show you all. If you take a look, this candle right here, this is on the 1 hour time frame. So this candle right here is closing above the range high, which is absolutely a bullish sign. But I'm gonna stop the bullish talk right here and potentially signal a swing failure pattern, right? Or also known as a liquidity sweep, potentially sweeping up the liquidity above this high, especially above this high and this high. This was completed, and then now it looks like we are sweeping liquidity right above this, and of course, liquidity above this. So, this and this is what's going on here. It has been completed, and it looks like the price wants to slowly move back down. It's gonna do its thing. Gonna trap a lot of buyers out here. I'm telling you, we are looking at the Bitcoin chart on the 1 hour, and then even though it does look bullish, no doubt we are seeing some potential bullish momentum developing on Bitcoin. I'm gonna tell you that it is highly likely that we start trading back into this range. Price absolutely can go further and tap into this zone right here, which is essentially this liquidity sitting here. It is very much possible that that could happen, and we could come into this zone. So I'm going to mark this out as well. Since we are quite close to this is going to be a move of about that's about 4% from here. So let me do this. I'm going to go in here and mark out a potential, the next potential supply zone on BTC. So let me do this right here. It's either going to be this or this. So this is highly likely that we tap into this rather than this, because as I mentioned yesterday, an order block that is sitting right above or below fair value is a much more stronger order block than a regular one like this. So this order block right here, this green candle, essentially is going to be a very strong order block because of this fair value gap right here. So it looks like the price is going to come in and tap into this order block very soon. So uh, we could expect the price to slowly come into the zone right here. Okay, so we are here right now. We are right here, so the price looks like it might come into this zone. We're gonna have to wait and watch and see what happens in the next day or two, because usually the weekend is where there's a lot of manipulation, low volume scam pumps that happen, and it is quite a regular thing on Bitcoin. So just make sure we keep the price uh, on the back burner right now, because the weekend is starting, and usually with the weekend, as I just mentioned, it is going to be a bit choppy, for the lack of a better word. It's going to be choppy, low volume, so just be aware of that. We might get a pump into this and then we dump back into this zone of 90,000. So now this is going to become a very strong support. What I honestly think is going to happen is we get a tap of this zone right here. As soon as we get a tap of the zone, I'm looking to get some bids filled in this zone, which is the 88,000 range high, previous range high. So I'm gonna now rename this as the previous range high, right? So now this is going to act as a good area of support. So this, let me just do this. So if you take a look, as I had mentioned, that we do have all these confluence areas that we broke out of, and then now we are looking at creating some sort of a bullish pattern. No doubt we are breaking out of this, but this is not a bullish pattern. This is actually a bearish flag. So a bullish flag technically would be something like this, but in this instance we are starting to see a momentum. This is what is known as an ascending wedge pattern. So an ascending wedge technically is a bearish pattern, so just make sure you are aware of all these things. And we have to stay frosty in this market because there are a lot of things going on with Bitcoin, and we can expect a lot of cool price action in the upcoming days to weeks. And as I can see out here, I'm looking at Ethereum doing some cool things as well. Ethereum looking quite bullish, and it's looking like it wants to pump on the lower time frame. Quite excited about Ethereum actually. After a long time, I did do a good, a pretty cool analysis on Ethereum quite recently. So you could probably go into I think it was the April 22nd live stream is where I did a very cool breakdown of Ethereum. And actually, as a matter of fact, I'm going to look to to go short on Ethereum right here because uh, we are looking quite bearish. So I'm going to take the short right here. We did sweep this. I took out the liquidity here, so I'm going to look to go short right now. As I was just talking about Ethereum, I'm going to go to look short right here at this level. And just going to set my stop loss. So this is going to be my trade right now on Ethereum. I'm going to make it clear for everyone. The chart is looking funky. I'm just going to reload this, refresh the page. Right, go into gold. Right, just give me a moment. Right, I don't know what this was. There's a gap up in the 1 minute chart for some reason, weirdly. Oh, that's a bullish candle. Damn, Ethereum is looking absolutely bullish right now. That's funny. It's really funny to me because Bitcoin isn't looking that bullish. Bitcoin does look a bit bearish right now. Since I mentioned we do have some potential situations going on with the range high swing failure pattern that could be playing out on Bitcoin right now. But I'm a bit unsure with Ethereum as to why we are seeing this pump. We might be looking at some sort of bullish momentum forming on Ethereum. But I'm more or less looking forward to taking these trades, trying to see if we do get some sort of conviction with these this trade opportunity on Bitcoin. I'm actually not too keen. Okay, we have already tapped into the stop loss on Ethereum, so not at all a good trade right there. Did see some potential wicks forming, so I'm actually gonna look for a better opportunity on Ethereum. Just give me a moment. free tools. Whoa, that's a pretty cool move on Ethereum. Nice. That's funny. I still feel like we're going to get a rejection here, no doubt. Just waiting on some potential confirmations to play out on the Ethereum chart, because even though we are looking like there might be some bullish momentum, I'm going to be really clear with the fact that we are at an overbought level. Just make sure that that is something that we keep in mind, is at an over. All right, there we go. This is Ethereum making some big moves right here. This is a massive move on Ethereum. Could have got this trade with the break of this trend line on the 1 minute chart, given us a 3% move. Quite the massive trend line move on Ethereum right there. Massive, truly a massive trade on Ethereum. And to be honest, I have been looking for a short on either on Bitcoin and Ethereum, but I haven't been able to get a short opportunity, even though the market has been giving me a lot of signs that it wants to move in the short direction, at least to kind of cool off. But looks like the buyers aren't having any of it. They really want the price to go up, especially with Ethereum. Just take a look at this, and then let's take a look at Bitcoin. Um, let's take a look at these moves on Bitcoin. Bitcoin really isn't doing much but Ethereum is just soaring through, rallying. Beautiful rally on Ethereum. What we're seeing right here. But we are definitely looking forward to taking a potential short on Ethereum and on Bitcoin. I think the Bitcoin trade would be a way better opportunity. So I'm just going to stay with Bitcoin right now and potentially just stay with this trade. Uh, look to keep things simple. As soon as we get a breach of this trend line, we are looking good on this trade. So I'm just going to set this in and Right, I am in this Bitcoin position. My entry is at 95 400 is where I entered. So this is precisely where is my entry, and I will look to take a position out here. 2 hour trade. So let's see how this plays out. Let's keep it simple. Just waiting for a breach of this trend line, and hopefully we do get this move back down into this to clear up this liquidity right here. Just waiting to see what this price does after it consolidates here. Hopefully it comes back down. Looks like it does want to kind of cool off and come down a bit. So let's see what happens. Gonna clear up the chart real quick. All right. This is a live trade on Bitcoin. Set it up like this. Ooh, we are getting some conviction coming through on BTC, Bitcoin, and I'm very much looking forward to this trend line break. Honestly, I usually wait for the breach of this trend line to take the shot, but ever since this, all these moves that have been happening in this overbought region, I'm quite convinced that the market wants to go down, and this wick as well is giving me some indications of a bearish momentum. Also, there is a potential bearish divergence forming. There's no potential, there's already a lot of bearish divergence forming right here. Ever since we had this pump, if you take a look at this, so this is what I mean by a bearish divergence. If I mark out the divergence with a line, if you look at this right here, and if you look at this right here, the price is forming higher highs, whereas the RSI is forming lower highs, right? So what that means technically is that the market is signaling a form of a low volume pump to the upper side, where the price actually, like the market actually is now starting to signal a potential move to the downside in the near term because of these divergences. This is the first indication that the market is starting to become a little exhausted. So which is precisely why I've been looking for shorts all throughout today's today's trading session. I have been looking for shorts. I was successful with a couple, especially um, a short opportunity. Yes, this was a good short opportunity right here, as well as this quick scalps. Nothing too crazy, mind you. So these are all just quick scalps, trying to just be in and out of the market as soon as possible. And time and time again, I'm somehow wanting to go back to the Ethereum chart, but I'm just going to wait and stay with the Bitcoin chart right now. So let's just stay with this. We are live with the Bitcoin chart. Let me zoom into this so that we have a clear picture of what's going on. There we go. Honestly, I really feel like this trade is going to play out quite soon. Once we get a good 5 minute candle close just below this trend line, it's going to come into our take profit level very, very soon. I'm actually watching Ethereum on a different chart on a different screen here, and Ethereum is doing the complete opposite of Bitcoin right now. Ethereum is looking amazingly bullish. There we go. We are seeing a potential rejection. So this is the reason why I took this trade, because of this candle wick right here. That's truly a proper liquidity sweep wick that happened here as well. If you notice these wicks, ever since these wicks have been forming, there have been these small scalp opportunities. Honestly, this I feel like that we're going to get a potential opportunity here as well, similar to what happened here and here. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. This was a good shot. This was just about a couple of hours before London Open. London Open was actually a pretty cool move. So if people were trading the orb strategy, the ORB, opening range breakout strategy, which I will discuss in a future video, they would have been in some really good profits right here. So this would have been the first signal to go long, somewhere around here actually on this candle. Place your stops right below this level. So this is what the ORB would have looked like. Place it right below this low and target the range high. Sort of a beautiful 3-hour trade played out. If at all anybody took the ORB, opening range breakout trade, really cool to have taken that trade. So essentially how it works is the opening range breakout is actually, it's a very simple strategy. It's one of the most simple strategies ever created for all levels of all skill levels of trading. Beginners to advanced level traders can use this, and it also has a quite a high success rate. So what it actually means is we are getting close below the trend line, so this looks like a pretty good trade playing out. We are up right now by about 200 points, 200 points, somewhere around 200 points we are up by. We are up on this trade by 200 points. So happy to have provided this trade live on the Young Reech Capital YouTube live stream, looking at Bitcoin, a quick scalp playing out. And I am actually very tempted to take a potential sell trade in Ethereum as well, and I might actually do that. I have taken a sell trade into Ethereum as well. So I'm just going to have to wait and see if the Ethereum trade plays out in my favor, because Ethereum is super bullish. But here we go, Bitcoin playing out beautifully, and looks like we are going to hit TP very soon. I am going to book 50% profit right here on BTC. Just bring this out here so we do have some better views of the chart. There we go. Lovely. I am booking 50% of my trade here. 50% have been booked. Now all we have to do is wait for a move into this low right here. I am waiting to take full profits at this low. My trade has been set. It is completed. This is a successful trade given to you live on Young Reach Capital. As I said, I was looking at a bearish situation form because of this wick right here. At the same time, this consolidation wasn't too convincing to me, honestly, because at least to the upside, I wasn't too convinced to take this trade because the market is already quite exhausted. And I'm just going to confirm that with the RSI as well. If you take a look at the RSI, the RSI has been at overbought levels for about uh, 3 hours now. 3 hours the market has been at an overbought level. So why would I be looking to take a long at an overbought level when I can purchase at a oversold level, which essentially means why would I buy at a premium when I can sell at a premium, which is what I just did. I sold at a premium. This is a trade I took at a premium level. So now we have a test of Bitcoin taking support at the range high, the monthly March range high. Bitcoin taking support out here. So what I would suggest is bringing your stops to break even, stop loss to break even. So I'm going to just put that in here. Move stops to break even. It's just a typo right there. All right, there we go. This is a successful trade, and we are totally and completely risk off on this. And it also looks like the market wants to come and tap into this trend line, which is highly likely going to happen. But I'm just going to take my all my profits out here, and it looks like we are going to be completely successful with this trade. I'm really happy to have taken this trade live. We didn't have an opportunity yesterday for a live trade because the market wasn't really doing much when I hopped onto the live stream. But at this moment, looks like we are looking pretty good, pretty good on this live Bitcoin short trade, which is completely risk free right now. Our stops have been moved to break even, and you know what? I'm actually gonna change this now to a trailing stop loss. Let me do that. I'm gonna trail my stop all the way here. This is gonna be my trailing stop. So we will still be kind of left with some profit, even if the price retraces back into this and starts going bullish. We will continue to have we have booked 50% profit anyway, so we are overall already in profit. But if at all the price kind of wants to trade back up here, gonna trail our stops. Let's just trail our stops to this high and watch what the price does. Alrighty then. All right. Looks like we are getting potential support forming on BTC at this level. This is the range high. As I mentioned before, this is the monthly range high. So we have now flipped this monthly range high into support, but I don't know how strong it is going to be. Hopefully, we start coming back below it and we don't close a higher time frame candle above this, or I hope we don't close many higher time frame candles above this, because at this moment the reason why I say I hope that that doesn't happen is because I am bearish on Bitcoin rather than bullish. Even though on the higher time frame, yes, there is some potential to be bearish, no doubt. uh, Excuse me, there is no doubt that Bitcoin is bullish on the higher time frames, but on the lower time frames, we are looking at some potential bearish scenarios that are going to play out. I've been discussing it from the past 2 days, and that's how I like to look at the market. Essentially, is as and when the market starts to go in a particular direction, I'm going to start looking at trades that are possible. Essentially, what that is called counter trend trading. Trading the opposite direction is when I like to kind of take my trades, is because that's when, even though there are a lot of risks when it comes to counter trend trading, I personally prefer it, and that's how I've, you know, traded all my life, is essentially counter trend uh, direction trading. Opportunities that present itself, I like to take. So at this moment, I actually, my primary strategy with trading is I like to trade ranges, right? Range trading is my forte. And at the same time, of course, trendline trading is my primary number one strategy, because the trendline trading strategies almost always have high conviction opportunities. For example, if I show you today's trading session, the Asia trading session, the Asia market, and with just pre London Open as well, we had this potential opportunity, right? Where the market broke, Bitcoin broke this trend line. And ever since then, just an hour before London Open, we had this massive move after we broke this. And this is just the 1 minute uh, trend line formation, right? And to be honest, I was actually looking for a short here. I was looking for a potential short opportunity, but turns out Bitcoin was planning something else altogether. So we had a trend line breach here and went all the way to this range high and started kind of trading above it as well. Even though, look at the amazing rejection at the range high here, but looks like we are getting some potential conviction here as well. So that's what has been going on for today's trading activities. I'm gonna get rid of all of this right now so we can keep things clean. The chart, there we go. We have many opportunities during the day on Bitcoin usually. Today I was a bit hasty with my short here, so I did take a stop at this level. So actually, it was a stop at this level. I had placed my stops here, so I got stopped out at this level. So, and then I didn't really end up taking a trade after that because I started seeing this consolidations forming here. I could have taken a potential trade with this trend line breach as well. This would have been a good opportunity, no doubt. Right, this move would have been a good move, but I don't really prefer taking these breakout trades when we are at such an overbought level. I'd like to take a long position when we are at these levels, at these lower levels, of oversold conditions is where at a discount I'd like to take a long rather than, taking potential long position here at these levels. I'd rather take it at this level. That would give me a much higher conviction. For example, this is a good trade right here because we are at a discounted zone. We are below the 50% level, and then we had this move here. So there are many reasons as to why a price does what it does when it reaches overbought or oversold conditions, right? For example, look at this. We were overbought here. And look at that beautiful move to the downside. We never quite fully reached the oversold condition here. We kind of started moving all the way up right from here itself. But look at this. We had an overbought condition here. Then we moved down. Just make sure that it's on the 1 minute time frame. If I have to zoom out and go into the higher time frame, we're going to probably see the exact same thing. So anything that the higher time frame does, the lower time frames are going to do in a much quicker and much faster way. Essentially, whatever the lower time frame does is going to translate into the higher time frames in a much longer span of time. That's it. So whatever you learn, you can apply it on any single time frame. You just have to figure out what kind of patience level is required for each trade that you are looking for. That's all that matters, because when you are on certain types of time frames, different time frames require different level of patience, and that is the most important thing, I would say, when it comes to trading different higher time frames or lower time frames. With lower time frames, you need to have patience, of course, but then you also need to be in and out of the market as soon as possible, because there might be way more swings and way more price action, volume bursts that happen between certain trades, you know, between certain opportunities. For example, this short right here is worth about 800 points, right? Absolutely a good opportunity to take a shot at this level. And what are the confirmations that I would provide for a short here? What I would be looking for first and foremost would be this trend line break right here. At the same time, I'm also looking at the market being oversold. I do see a trend line breach on the RSI as well. So this is a good trade. Also, if you want another additional confirmation, this would be a Fibonacci retracement into the golden pocket here, and that would give you a much, much bigger return, because you will be placing your trade based on the Fibonacci golden pocket, and you can target 0.25 or the zero point 0.5 standard deviations as well, which will give you some pretty good moves, no doubt. So there's an opportunity always at hand, and it's just how you play it with a certain level of caution and awareness and alertness without giving up. Today, honestly, wasn't one of my best trading days. Today was, even though we are doing well with this particular trade, I'm happy that I was able to do this live. Honestly, today's trading day wasn't too successful for me because I started off with a losing trade because I was looking to short here, as I had mentioned before, and then I didn't really trade this choppy consolidation. I was looking to short again here, but we did not get a conviction, so I did not take this trade here. And then I did take the short. I did take some profits here, but I was looking for a better move down, so I didn't really get to take full profits on this trade. I was only able to take partials because I moved my stops to kind of trail into this order block here, breaker block. I was hoping that the price would come into this breaker and reject here and then come back down, but turns out we didn't do that. We went up, so I got my trailing stop loss out here. So all in all, today wasn't one of my best trading days, I'll be honest. I will be honest that today I didn't really stick to my rules, and I was a bit indisciplined, and impatient and I started chasing some trades. I did that with Ethereum today. So it is a learning lesson, it is a learning curve, but that's not going to stop me. I'm not going to give up because I already know for a fact that if my strategy is clean, simple, and if as long as I stick to it, it's going to give me the rewards and it's going to give me the benefit that I've been working really hard to achieve all these years. So that's all it takes. It just takes a certain level of honesty and coming to terms with my own inabilities and insecurities, and also certain uncertainties that show up within the whole process of trading, and how to understand myself better during those times, how to keep a clear state of mind and stay relaxed and not do things hastily and not become a victim of impulsive decisions. Be decisive rather than indecisive. That's what I learned today, and I'm going to carry that forward with my upcoming trades. For example, this trade right here is what I was looking forward to. With a very decisive move, I took this trade. I provided it live on the stream because I knew that there was some potential momentum that was shifting to the downside, because I really didn't find a good conviction with the bears because of this divergence forming right here. This was quite a big divergence right here. This is a bearish divergence in a bullish market. So that is going to that started to signal a potential short trade right here. So that's why I was like, okay, let me take a look and let me start looking at a short position here, which is precisely what I did. I provided this trade live, and we are successful with it. I'm going to put that in right here. And I will be honest about another thing as well. After today's there we go. That's what I was searching for. All right, perfect. So yeah, that's something that I have learned today is there are so much there are so many things that create uncertainty, and the mind likes to kind of the mind gets a high off of uh, putting itself in a chaotic environment for some reason. So at times when it reaches these points of chaotic momentum, chaotic uh, scenarios, especially from today's trading, I have learned the lesson, learned a fact that is super useful to me and to everybody who's watching the stream or who's going to watch the stream in the future, is so take a deep breath and just say relax and not trade at all during those moments. Just stay away from the phone. However deep that pull or that magnetic feeling is to go to place a trade that you think is going to recover a previous loss, that's not the way to go about it. It's just better to not trade and just wait for another setup, wait for a much higher calculated and cleaner setup, so that the mind and the entire flow doesn't get depreciated by insulting this the discipline of strategy, the discipline of staying consistent. So that's what it is all about, and that I would like to leave this stream with that thought in mind. I'm glad I was able to take this trade. For anybody who is looking to see what to do with this trade, the trade is completely automated right now. We have set our stops to this level right here at the 95,267 level. So we are going to be in profit nevertheless. We have booked 50% profits at this level, and hopefully we do get a completion of this trade. But overall, we are already in profit and we are good to go on this trade. So there's no problem with any risk on this trade at all. So we are looking good. I'm glad to have provided this trade live. And I also said we were going to do some altcoins, right? So let me just go through this quickly. Uh, you know what? I am actually going to do a separate video on altcoins because we are already seeing a lot of momentum that is forming on altcoins. And of course, everything depends on what Bitcoin did. I was watching another live streamer earlier who said better to kind of stay with Bitcoin and see what Bitcoin does during the times where you want to trade a meme coin or an altcoin. As long as Bitcoin is kind of staying within a certain range, then the altcoins are going to start moving up. But if Bitcoin starts kind of forming a bearish move and starts coming down, the altcoins are due to follow and due to kind of move in a direction towards the downside. For example, look at Ethereum. Even though it went up, now since Bitcoin is starting to move in the direction opposite to what Ethereum was doing just a couple of minutes ago, maybe an hour ago, it's going to start following Bitcoin, no doubt. But of course, we do have some potential strong altcoins, meme coins like fart coin, as I've been talking about it a lot. Even though it's like super choppy, we are going to get to it. My apologies, I don't really have the time right now to go through a lot of altcoins because Bitcoin is looking a bit bearish and not immediately. This is like on the 1 minute time frame, so we are just looking for a short term bearish move to reset some prices. I will be back on Monday to discuss. In the meantime, I'm going to put together a bunch of cool ideas and chart breakdowns for altcoins and potential trade opportunities for the cryptocurrency market. So, with that, I am going to log off and we'll be back on Monday at just post New York Open. I'm going to do the altcoin breakdowns then, and I'm going to also put out a couple of videos on my YouTube for the first time uh, with a bunch of cool ideas, trading psychology. I'm also going to do a couple of uh, tutorials with certain trading strategies and stuff. So there are a lot of cool things lined up for Young Reech Capital YouTube. So glad to have started this whole venture of live streaming. Actually, really liking it. Really liking talking about. I'm learning a lot as well. Just talking about trading in general. Even though I don't have many viewers, I'm sure it's going to blow up soon and going to start exponentially growing. I'm just doing it because I'm liking it. I'm just chilling. I'm just taking it moment to moment, and yeah, great having this live stream on. And awesome. I hope you all have a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday at New York Open. We will be discussing Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a bunch of altcoins for sure. So, all right. Take care. I will see you all on the next one.